the 1954 Liberty Wheat penny is one of those coins that might just turn the tables for you. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but when you understand its history and what collectors are paying for it today, you'll realize why this little piece of copper is far more valuable than it appears. Stick around until the end of this video, because we'll uncover not only its history but also what it's worth today, and how you can actually sell it. The Liberty Wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln Wheat cent, has a legendary place in American coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909, it was created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The wheat ears on the reverse symbolized prosperity, growth, and the strength of America during the early 20th century. By 1954, the coin had already been in circulation for 45 years, making it both a familiar everyday coin and a piece of long-running history. The year 1954 itself was an interesting time in American history. The United States was recovering from the aftermath of World War II. The Cold War tensions were rising, and everyday Americans were experiencing the economic boom of the 1950s. In that climate, the 1954 wheat penny continued its role as a common coin in the hands of workers, children, and business owners alike. Minted in 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the 1954 wheat penny exists in different varieties. The Philadelphia mint coins carry no mint mark, the Denver coins carry a small D under the date, and the San Francisco coins carry an S. While millions were minted, not all of them survived in pristine condition, and that is where their value begins to rise today. On the obverse, we find the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His image represents freedom, leadership, and unity. On the reverse, the twin stalks of wheat flank the words 1 cent, and at the bottom, United States of America. These simple design elements connect the coin directly to America's agricultural roots and national pride. From a composition standpoint, the 1954 wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This copper base gives the coin a rich reddish-brown tone when uncirculated, but over time, many circulated pieces have taken on darker hues, sometimes with unique patinas that collectors find attractive. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 71 million wheat pennies in 1954, while Denver minted more than 250 million, and San Francisco struck around 96 million. Because of these high mintages, circulated examples are still relatively easy to find, but in uncirculated condition, or with certain striking errors, the 1954 wheat penny becomes much more desirable. Error coins from 1954 are especially sought after. Double die errors, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can turn an otherwise common coin into one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors love these imperfections. The cultural role of the wheat penny in 1954 should not be overlooked. It was a coin children used to buy candy, a coin placed into piggy banks, and a coin that symbolized thrift and savings during the post-war boom. For many Americans, it was more than just currency. It was a tiny part of daily life that carried values of hard work and perseverance. As years passed, the wheat penny was eventually phased out in 1958 when the Lincoln Memorial design replaced the wheat ears. That makes the 1954 issue one of the last few years of this iconic design. Collectors see it as part of the closing chapter of a historic coin series. Today, when you search eBay or other online platforms, you'll see the 1954 wheat penny listed in a wide range of prices. Common circulated coins may only be worth a few cents or $1, but in higher grades, such as uncirculated or certified mint state, they can sell for $20, $1.50, or even more. Exceptional examples with brilliant red luster can climb into the hundreds. Auction houses have seen even more remarkable results. For instance, rare error coins or high-grade specimens graded by PCGS or NGC have brought in prices of $1,000 or higher. The market depends heavily on condition, rarity of the variety, and the interest of serious collectors. The beauty of the 1954 wheat penny is that it represents opportunity. Because so many were minted, people often overlook it, assuming it is worthless. But as we've seen, condition and rarity play an enormous role. That means you could be sitting on a coin worth far more than you think. Another fascinating element is how these pennies connect us to history. Holding a 1954 wheat penny is like holding a small artifact from the heart of mid-century America. Imagine the hands it passed through: factory workers, students, mothers shopping for groceries, soldiers returning from service, Each coin carries its own invisible story. Numismatists or coin collectors also stress the importance of wheat pennies as a starter series. Many young collectors begin by searching for wheat pennies in pocket change or coin rolls. The 1954 is often one of the first they encounter, sparking a lifelong interest in collecting, even outside the numismatic community. Wheat pennies hold nostalgic value. Families pass them down as keepsakes, and many people store jars of old pennies not realizing the hidden treasures within. The 1954 penny often finds its way into these family collections. The demand for wheat pennies has grown steadily as copper prices rise and as more collectors enter the market. That means even average condition coins have gained interest over time. If you have one in particularly good condition, the opportunities are even greater. When browsing platforms like eBay, you'll notice how sellers market these coins. Some highlight their rarity, some emphasize condition, and others bundle them in sets. Buyers respond strongly to coins matters greatly. A heavily worn 1935 penny might only be worth a few cents or dollars, but a well-preserved one, especially in mint state, can command impressive prices at auctions. Collectors seek coins with sharp details, original luster, and minimal signs of wear. Those are the specimens that often fetch hundreds or even thousands. As with many wheat pennies, the real excitement lies in what collectors are willing to pay today. On platforms like eBay and heritage auctions, 1935 wheat pennies in pristine condition have sold for amounts that would shock anyone who dismisses pennies as worthless. Bidding wars often erupt over coins with unusual features or extraordinary preservation, sending prices soaring. Part of the magic of the 1935 penny lies in its dual nature. On one hand, it is an accessible coin. Many people can find one in their collection. On the other hand, it has the potential, depending on condition and rarity, to bring in substantial money if sold in the right marketplace. This balance between commonality and hidden value is what makes it such a captivating piece for collectors and investors alike. Its historical importance cannot be overstated. This was a coin used by children to buy their first treats, by workers to scrape together enough for lunch, by families stretching every cent during desperate times. Holding one today is like holding a tiny time capsule of the 1930s. In auctions, rare varieties of the 1935 penny have surprised even seasoned collectors. Some examples graded by top certification services like PCGS and NGC have broken expectations, proving that condition and provenance can make all the difference. Stories of these surprising sales continue to fuel interest among those hunting for the next great find. So why does the 1935 wheat penny continue to matter so much in the coin world? Because it connects everyday people to a grander story. It embodies the grit of a generation that endured hardship and emerged stronger. It proves that something as small as a penny can carry enormous historical and financial weight. Now, if you've held on to one of these coins or maybe inherited a collection from a relative, you might be sitting on something much more valuable than you think. This is where things could turn the tables for you. And here's the key part. If you really want to know what your 1935 Liberty wheat penny could be worth today, if you want to learn where and how you can actually sell it for top value, here's what I want you to do. Drop the word price in the comment box below, and I'll personally tell you not just its value, but also the best way to sell it for maximum profit.
Today we are going to dive deep into the story of one of the most fascinating coins of the 20th century, the 1941 Liberty wheat penny. Now, before we get into the details, let me tell you this: if you happen to own this coin, it might just turn the tables for you. Stick around until the very end of the video, because I will share how much this coin can be worth in today's market, and how you can sell it for the best price. And at the end, I'll ask you to comment the word price in the comment section, and I'll personally tell you its real selling value and the exact process of how to sell it safely and profitably. The 1941 Liberty wheat penny was minted during a turning point in world history. The United States had not yet entered World War II, but the conflict was already raging across Europe and Asia. The production of this coin took place under those looming circumstances, giving it not just monetary value, but also historical depth. Every penny struck in 1941 carries with it the weight of a nation preparing for one of the greatest struggles in human history, designed by Victor David Brenner. The obverse side of the 1941 Liberty wheat penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and by 1941 it had already become a national symbol of honesty, unity, and strength. The design remained unchanged, giving this coin a sense of continuity and tradition, linking Americans through generations. On the reverse side, the coin proudly displays 2 wheat stalks arching along the edges, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above sits the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. These wheat stalks symbolize prosperity, labor, and growth, a theme that resonated deeply with Americans who were still recovering from the Great Depression while facing the threat of another global conflict, the 1941 wheat penny was struck at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins bore no mint mark, while the Denver mint coins carried a small D, and the San Francisco coins a small S. Collectors often look for these mint marks, as they can greatly influence the rarity and value of a coin. In terms of production, the numbers were staggering. More than 887 million pennies were minted in 1941, making it one of the most common years for wheat pennies. But here's the twist: while the coin might be common in general, the real treasure lies in its variations, mint marks, and above all, its condition. A 1941 penny found in your pocket change today may not be worth much more than a cent, but in high grades, or with special errors, it can fetch impressive sums. Error coins are particularly fascinating.
The 1930 Liberty Wheat Penny is part of the famous Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual person, breaking away from the long-standing tradition of using allegorical figures like Lady Liberty. The early 20th century, the U.S. Mint sought to modernize its coinage. By 1909, Lincoln's image was chosen for the 1 cent coin, replacing the Indian head cent. The reverse carried 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing prosperity and national agricultural heritage, which gave it the name wheat penny or wheat cent. The time the 1930 issue was struck, the United States was in the early years of the Great Depression. Economic hardship affected coin production and circulation patterns, but the cent remained an essential coin for everyday transactions. Features: a right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The word liberty appears to the left, while the date 1930 is to the right. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto, "In God We Trust." 2 stylized wheat ears curve along each side, framing the denomination 1 cent and the country name United States of America. The motto E pluribus unum appears at the top. The 1930 wheat penny was produced in 3 locations. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, largest mintage. These numbers are high compared to rarer dates. Coins in high mint state grades remain valuable to collectors. This alloy was standard for U.S. cents from 1909 until mid-1942, when steel cents were introduced due to World War II copper shortages. The 1930 wheat penny circulated during a time of economic downturn from the Great Depression, reduced consumer spending but heavy coin circulation. The penny retained strong purchasing power, worth more than 20 times its modern equivalent in buying power. Collectors value the 1930 wheat penny based on condition: circulated versus uncirculated, color designation for uncirculated coins: red road, red brown RBN, brown BN, high grade mint state red, MS65 or higher. Examples, especially from San Francisco, are scarce and command premium prices. High grade MS66 red examples can exceed 200, and rare top coins can go higher at auction. 1930 was one of the last years before the U.S. Mint made subtle changes to Lincoln's portrait in 1934. Despite the Great Depression, no major mintage cuts occurred for the 1930 cent, reflecting its necessity in everyday transactions. Some examples have been found with die cracks or double die obverse errors, which significantly increase collector interest and value. The 1930 Liberty Wheat Penny stands as a reminder of America's resilience during economic hardship. It's a tangible piece of history from an era when a penny could still buy small goods, and its simple, enduring design